Hello,
There you are. Hello.
how you doing?
All right. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Uh, so, anything new?
Um, well, I got my hearing aids this last week, and I'm learning to use them. It's a little disconcerting because I'm hearing a lot of tough stuff that I haven't heard for years. So,
Um, my mom has, well, both of my parents have hearing aids, and my mom's is they've got Bluetooth built into them.
yeah,
So
these do.
we don't hear we don't hear her cell phone ring or anything, and she just randomly starts talking to people. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
what are you saying, woman?
My mine hook into my uh, phone also.
Yeah. It's just kind of funny because we're sitting there in the car or something, and all of a sudden she'll be carrying on an entirely different conversation,
Uh-huh.
and it's like, oh, she's got somebody talking in her ear.
Yep. Well, so far I'm pretty happy with them, but there is a training curve. There's no question about that.
Yeah, yeah. Dad, Dad is he's pretty old school. He doesn't need all that extra tech and all that stuff. He just wants to hear. So his hearing
Yeah,
aids are pretty basic. They
yeah.
they do what they're supposed to do, but that's about it.
Mine. So far I'm pretty happy with them. I got them. Let's see, when did I get them? I got them Tuesday, and so I'm still experimenting.
Right?
And
Figuring out the right volume for everything and
well, not only that, but as you said with your dad, I mean, it's got a lot of features on it, and I've got to figure out, it's a matter of learning how it works
right.
and what the features are and so forth and so on. It also was interesting, the uh, tech who installed them, um, it's like that. I hear things in the background which nobody else hears, but at any rate, it's interesting thus
Yeah.
far. I hear stuff that other people don't hear, and that's a matter of adjusting the sensitivity and so forth and so on. But must say the technology has improved substantially, and the costs have come down orders
Yeah.
of magnitude. When my dad got his in the late 90s, they were about $6,000 a set,
Yeah.
and they didn't have rechargeable batteries, so he had all this little wheel that had all the spare batteries in it, and he was always fiddling with trying to, and
That's
it
that's
was
dad.
well, the problem is that unless you make technology really convenient, people just don't do it.
Right.
And they just say, screw this. I
Yeah.
don't need, nobody's saying anything I need to hear anyway. So, and that was pretty much my dad's. And so now they are all rechargeable. They all come with a little gizmo that you drop them into, and overnight they recharge. And it's
How long do they last?
how long does
The charge last?
um I they claim something like 45 hours,
Wow. Okay.
which means that if you have your charger gizmo on your bedside table and you drop them in when you go to sleep at night, you know, you never run into a situation where you don't have a charge. Um, but they're all rechargeable. They hold charge for a long time, and they do bring in a lot of noises, which or sounds, which either you never heard or you are haven't heard in a long time.
Right.
One of the things the tech was giving me the training on is that you will notice the bird songs. And he said, some people like that and some people don't. But you'll notice the bird songs. Apparently, the tweet tweet of the birds is up in a range which they tend to amplify quite a bit. And for listening to human voices, it's fine. But if you're outside, the birds are pretty obnoxious.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm getting used to them, and I'm pleased that I got them. They
I, Dad, he is constantly changing the batteries in his. He carries around, big
it's a circle.
a big spool of battery. He's got two or three of those spools in his pocket because
They don't
he's
last long.
yeah he's constantly changing them. And
So his are not rechargeable.
no, it like I said, he's old school. He went with the. They're probably better than the $6,000 ones from the '90s, but they are definitely not. They have no features. They amplify, and he can turn he can turn them off and he can turn them down and adjust the volume, but that's pretty much the extent of the feature.
Well, I had the impression in talking to the tech who did my training that you can no longer buy the kind with the non-rechargeable batteries. Anything that's on the market today is now I don't know how long ago he got these, but
Yeah.
anything that's on the market today is rechargeable.
Well, I'm trying to think. I know he's upgraded. Upgraded. He's gotten new uh hearing aids here recently, and I'm pretty sure they handed him the same thing he had. They were
Ah,
just, you know, um, the only he for years he had a flip phone, and it would only make phone calls. That's all it would do. And finally, T-Mobile said, "We're not supporting that network anymore. You have to get
Yeah.
a um, smartphone." And he did, and he doesn't carry it around. He It stays at home 99% of the time. He doesn't use it.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah, and I said, well, that's kind of defeats the purpose of having a cell phone. Just don't use the features. Just use it as to make phone calls. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but it does all this other stuff, and I don't care about all this other stuff. Okay, I just need it to make phone calls.
I don't know. Are flip phones even available anymore?
No, um, maybe. I think Motorola is still making one, but it's basically a smart flip phone. It's not a. It's basically an Android in a small shell.
Uh-huh.
Um, but his was, I don't remember what it was. It was as basic as you could get. It had a nice screen on it that he could read, and that was about it.
Hmm.
Nice size buttons for him to use, but if he wanted to send a text, he would have had to sit there and go,
Hmm.
and that
Yeah,
was never going to happen. He would never have sent a text. He would have just picked the phone up and called you.
I my history is I got my first cell phone, which was a flip phone, in 2000. I had gotten Barbara one in, I don't know, 95, and it was one of those old analog phones that was about as heavy as a brick, and it
Yeah.
had, it looked like a walkie-talkie,
Yes.
a small walkie-talkie.
Yep.
But I got my first one when I joined Kaiser in 2000, and I lived on flip phones for years, and then in 2012, I looked at it and said, this is silly. I really ought to get a smartphone. So I did, and I've never looked back. I mean,
Right.
it's terribly convenient.
But
There's a lot of apps on it. For example, um,
the app for your hearing aid.
the app for my hearing aid, and also I have a continuous glucose monitor, so I
Right.
can pick up my glucose reading.
Right.
And so they've built a lot of stuff into it, um, and so it's just
I,
and and you're forced to buy a new one about every 2-3 years.
yeah,
Uh,
about that. Somewhere in that neighborhood.
yeah, depending on who you're with. I'm with T-Mobile now, and before that, I was with who was T-Mobile before T-Mobile?
They partnered with Sprint, I think.
Well, no, T-Mobile bought.
Bots. Yeah.
It was Sprint, I guess,
They
and
T-Mobile's has a lot of those NVO, the virtual operators
yeah.
companies. So, um, yeah, they've partnered with a lot of people.
Well, what happened with my phone was it was a T3, G3, whatever. Oh no, it was 3G,
3G, yeah.
and and a number of outfits, including the outfit that handles my security system on the house here and so forth, said, "Hey, no, that's gone. That's
that
gone
that well,
away."
that's pretty much. I thinking Dad's phone probably was on the 3G network, and T-Mobile's when he went to buy a new T-Mobile kept saying this network's not supported, this network's not supported, this network's not supported. And I guess they gave like everybody an extra year because he had the phone for a
Yeah,
little bit longer.
yeah, that's what
And
T-Mobile did.
and then they finally just said you have to buy a smartphone. There's no way around it. You have to do it. And he said, okay.
Well, something that I was connected to said absolutely wasn't going to work after such and such a date.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
so,
was.
so, hey, Steve, how you doing?
Steve's at
Hello,
work.
I'm doing
Steve's
well.
Steve's at work. This is
Yeah,
with Steve. You have to check which company it is.
back at Siemens.
Oh,
Still a
back to okay.
Uh,
So anyway, we had to go and so we swapped both of our phones, Barbara and I, and ended up with 5Gs and all that. And of course, if they force you into a current phone, then they in effect force you into all of these other feature sets. So yeah. So
my first cell phone, the first cell phone I ever had was a bag phone.
hmm?
that's been a while.
Yeah, it was, one of those black carry. It looked like a little uh, bag.
So you've done Motorola for a while.
Yeah, I like Motorola's, but my first cell phone was a bag phone, and then we bought a full size van that had an actual real car phone in it.
Real.
Yeah, which is basically a bag phone, not in the bag, but it was an actual real car phone, and I had got that activated, and that was easy enough to do because the analog system didn't need the SIM cards and all that stuff. You just needed the IEMA number, and um, but yeah, I've had a cell phone since for a very very long time, and then my first smartphone was a BlackBerry, and that was on the Sprint network, and that thing was outrageously expensive. And so I'm so happy that uh, Motorola is still in the game and making reasonably priced phones.
hmm
And really nice, reasonably priced phones, or fairly nice, reasonably priced phones. So, but yeah, I'm going to have, I think the difference, Art, is you already kind of have some technology background, and Dad really doesn't. He uses a computer and he complains about it every single time. And
Really?
yeah, he doesn't really want to do technology stuff. So he'll do it if he's forced to, but he doesn't want to do it. So I, it might be time though to, especially if the hearing aids are lasting as long, it might be time to just upgrade him to a better hearing aid and say, don't use the features. Just
Well, the key point is I think the rechargeable battery is a nice feature
Yeah,
because I remember my dad carrying around those little discs that had a
yeah,
little mini, and they were really small.
really small.
You have a coin battery, and it's using a lot of miniature stuff. And then you had these things, and these things were, geez, they were about they were smaller than the diameter of a pencil, and they were about, as a matter of fact, they were about the same profile all the way around as the erasure on a wood pencil.
Yep. Yeah,
Erasure, however you pronounce
erasure,
that.
erasure.
Eraser. At any rate, and then he'd spill the damn box of the thing. He'd be putzing around on the floor looking for them in the carpet. And just a rechargeable feature is a real convenience.
Yeah.
So, and I've never had uh, hearing aids before, so although my wife has been after me for several years
Ah,
now to attempt to intimidate me into, uh, and I'm basically Thomas Edison was apparently deaf as a stone.
Yep.
And this was the result of an injury he had when he was riding on the trains and so forth and so on, carrying papers. So, at any rate, he took the position of, you know, it's really convenient not to have to hear what everybody else is saying. It's just, and he was doing a lot of Morse code, a lot of telegraphy specifically, and he claimed that it was easier to hear the tones if you didn't have to listen to all the other background noise that you have. So, at any rate, and I can kind of see that in there are certain situations where not being able to hear what's going on is a real advantage.
yeah.
But at any rate, this is a new phase in my life, and I'm enjoying learning about the technology and how it connects. And of course, since they have a Bluetooth connection on them, you can connect them to anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of handy. But I can tell you, periodically, several times an hour actually, I will get a really whammo noise in my ear, and it's somebody drops a
Oh,
or something drops on the floor, and man, it shakes my head. So, but at any rate, I'm still obviously only having had them for 2 days. I am working my way up or down or whatever on the learning curve. So,
well, just the battery life would be enough to make me convince my dad that he needs those.
well, I got mine at Costco. Now it turns out our healthcare carrier, Kaiser in California, would have provided the same thing for within a couple of bucks. I mean, literally of the same price. But we are in
Yeah,
Milford. We are not in California,
not in California.
so I didn't feel like flying back to California to get them fed and so forth.
Right.
So we went to Costco, And they did a very good job, and the price was competitive, and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
But the rechargeable battery thing, I think, is
Well,
is
that would be the one feature that he would get the most use out of, I think. He wouldn't care about Bluetooth, he wouldn't care about any of that other stuff that it does. Yeah. So,
well,
like I said, he doesn't even carry a cell phone anymore because they forced him to buy a smartphone. He just doesn't like it.
well, it's
So,
something that is new, and they've got to learn how to use it, and so forth, so on. And if you're kind of a technology nerd to begin with, of course, it helps. But
well, yeah, that and we've talked about it before. I've got to get him his computer this past week. I guess they got an update and the internet stopped working.
oh, you mean this is a Windows update?
Oh, of course, because he's been very
Oh,
stubborn about letting me do anything else, but he finally broke down and said maybe we ought to put that Linux thing you're talking about on this computer.
oh, that's that's
I've been
well,
I've been begging him for 5 years. Put Linux on these computers, Dad. You'll be way happier. But he said Windows 11, and they're trying to force. It's just full of ads now, and they're trying to force them to pay for stuff and still have ads, and he doesn't like any part of that. And I'm like, well, Linux doesn't do any of that stuff.
welcome to Microsoft.
So
With Microsoft, there is nothing is free.
yeah, yeah, and I
Especially the free stuff.
Oh yeah,
the free stuff will cost you the most. I told him, I said, well, I'll make a boot USB flash drive, and we'll just boot up your machine off of that. We'll get everybody used to it, and then eventually we'll just install Linux over top of Windows. And
well, you can just set it up as a dual boot machine, and he has a choice when he goes in to
I know my dad. That'll confuse him.
really.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I'm just going to let it boot and let him get used to it, and then go from there, because his wife, dad doesn't deal with the technology well, but his wife is worse.
oh,
Dad will at least go and try something out and then decide that he doesn't like it. So he's not completely against anything, but his wife, if her games don't work, oh, I'm going to hear about it.
yeah.
They will put up with the ads because the games work. What is this? The first phone. Ah, the classic Nokia.
Yeah, that was a good phone, that first one.
I actually had one of those too. I That was a smartphone before smartphones.
It wasn't too smart.
It wasn't too smart, but you could play games on it. Snake, I remember.
Yep. I'm just going through my whole list. Actually, I want to copy this myself.
So, Steve,
Hmm?
what is Arch Linux?
Well, I run Arch, of course. Uh,
Okay, what is it?
Arch is just another distribution. It's got its own package management, the AUR, the Arch user repository or something. I honestly don't know what it stands for. It's just another distribution of Linux, but it does seem to be aimed more for network, excuse me, security and stuff. So
Okay.
there's that.
Well, I thought you'd used Linux Mint.
I do.
Okay.
I
So
love Mint.
these are on different machines or different partitions or what?
Different VMs mostly.
Oh, okay.
The laptops that I carry around all have Mint. The VMs are mostly CentOS or Rocky or Red Hat based. And I've got a couple of VMs that are other stuff that I try and play with now and then.
So what do you use in your work? That's
Rocky 9 is my other desktop. I've got a Windows laptop that they won't let me wipe and reload. But what I sit and use most of the day is a Rocky 9 graphical box.
Rocky 9. Okay, so
Mhm.
Rocky's another distribution.
Rocky Linux is the current Red Hat clone. It's fun stuff.
So basically it's on the Red Hat branch, not the Debian branch.
Right, right.
Okay.
But I'm running Cinnamon on it, which is the old GNOME.
Yeah.
And so it looks just like Mint.
Okay.
We have a thing here at work called Slide, the Siemens Linux integrated desktop environment. It's pretty
Well,
nice.
I wonder how many hours it cost them to get somebody to come up with that. with
Not
the
many.
with the acronym I'm talking about.
No.
You're running something resembling Mint, but it's slime.
I thought you said slide. You
Yep.
said
Oh.
slime?
No, Slide. SLIDE.
I like slime better.
I'm running Slime Linux.
There probably is one.
Well, I'm not going to stay on for very long. I'm fighting the sugar crash right now.
Uh-oh.
Ow. Jeez.
Yeah,
Mine's never been that low.
it just fell off the edge. So I wanted to check in. If I recover, I'll call back.
Yep, go be safe.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You use the glucose tablets?
Yeah, I was talking to my nephew and I felt this coming on. And so I ran and got my phone and looked at the precipice I'd just fallen off on. And I don't know about anybody else, but when I crash like that, I can take 2 or 3 or 4 glucose tablets. But what I want to do is grab everything in the house and throw it in my mouth and continue to do that until my sugars are like out of the sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the glucose tablets do cause spikes.
Well, this has been about uh, 10 minutes, 15 minutes now, and I'm not recovering, so I don't know what's going on. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I wanted to check in. I apologize for leaving a nasty note.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Good luck.
Oh, it's blurry. I gotta turn the blur off. I've got on this tablet, I've got Cinnamon running because it works a lot better. But I have it looking like Mate. It's set up. It's almost indistinguishable between Mate and or Mate and Cinnamon.
Interesting.
Because I really like the Mate desktop. I just like it. But Cinnamon works better. So if I can make it look like something I like, why not? And I think that's going to be the selling point for my dad is I'm going to be able to make it look like Windows. So that they will feel like they're doing something.
There's a distribution that looks so much like Windows XP that it's hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. They've gotten so used they've gotten used to Windows 11 now, so a KDE desktop probably would be all right with the short bar or whatever they call that thing. But I know there's ways to customize it to make it have the stupid Windows Start logo and all that other stuff. So, and it will. I've seen one. I've seen a distro that, like, even your web browser will say Internet Explorer, even though it's like Chrome or something. But I think if I can ease the translation from Windows to Linux as much as I possibly can, they won't even know the difference.
Well, it's interesting. My wife has been using Linux for I don't know about 20 years now, and I'm not sure that she realizes she's not on Windows. I mean, except for the fact that you know she gets comments about it, but one GUI or another is you're just shoving icons around. What's the big deal? I mean,
well, that was pretty much what almost everything they do. They don't play the games they play are on the internet, on the web.
Yeah.
Almost everything their email client is on the web. Almost everything they do is on the web. So what difference does it make what you use to do that?
What operating system? Yeah.
I've finally convinced him that really shouldn't make any difference at all. You're using whatever the stupid Microsoft version of Chrome is. Well, we'll just stick Chrome on there, or we'll stick Brave on there. You'll never notice the difference. It's all Chromium based. That you'll never notice the difference.
Well, it's all Mozilla based, basically.
And he was like, "Yeah, let's do that." But of course, his wife is kind of like, I don't want to change. If I'm going to lose my games, I don't want to change. 99% sure that her games are going to work on anything she can
Well,
get on the web.
if they're all web-based, they probably will.
Yeah. So those are my adventures with my dad, though. I've been trying for years to get him to switch because when he had Windows 10 on a machine and they were doing weird stuff, I was like, we just need to get rid of this. We just need to. And then he bought a new computer and got Windows 11, and he was okay until they started making these big changes this last couple of months with adding more ads and begging people to pay them for stuff that they already own. So,
Well, with Microsoft, greed is not a dirty word.
no. We have Vicente here now.
Hi.
Hey.
Anything new, Mr. Vicente? We've been talking cell phones and hearing aids.
Okay. Any recommendation for the hearing aids?
Talk to Art.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I don't have them in right now, by the way.
No, any recommendation because I am left in one here.
Well, my recommendation is you go to Costco.
Uh-huh.
They have competitive prices. They have competitive performance, and they have pretty good technical staff for training.
Oh, great.
So that would be my recommendation. I would not go to a storefront audiologist. They will, their primary objective in life is to
Sell you
is
a
to
very sophisticated thing.
is to transfer US dollars
Yeah.
from your wallet to their wallet.
Yeah.
No, I've been very
Agreed.
impressed. I only got mine. Well, I got them. I first went there and they tested me 14 ways to Sunday and see what they do is they look at the sensitivity versus
Okay.
frequency.
Okay, exactly.
So the idea is that you'll be kind of amazed if you look at the curves for your ears. Not only are they amazing in terms of the sensitivity as a function of frequency, but in my case, they were radically different between the two ears. So they did all that. And then a week later, I went back, and they had them set up and tuned and so forth and so on. And then they fitted them. And fitting is literally like fitting a suit. They fit them to your ears so that they're comfortable. And then they tweaked the amplification as a function of frequency. And apparently, I don't know how many segments they have there, but they can set up the amplification versus frequency in very small increments.
So
So-
it's like an equalizer in your
Exactly, it's like an equalizer. And they spent a lot of time with me and also training me how to adjust them. And then you have an app that they connect to on your cell phone, and you can go on there and you can adjust the frequency versus amplification and so forth and so on your cell phone.
Right.
And they're pretty sophisticated. But as I was telling Leroy, the thing that is really great, when my father got his in the 90s, they had disposable batteries, little tiny batteries about the size of a pencil eraser. And you had to change them every few hours. And they just drove my dad nuts because they would, as they went down, of course, the sensitivities change and so forth, so on. Now they are pretty much all rechargeable. And they have this little gizmo that you drop them into to let them charge. And you let them charge overnight. They get a full charge in about 2 hours. So it's not a long-winded process at all. You don't wear them at night, by the way. Apparently, the problem if you wear them at night is you can bump them when they come out and so forth and so on. But the rechargeable batteries in the hearing aid are good for, I don't know, something in the order of 40 hours, something like that. So well over a day. So at any rate, I strongly recommend Costco.
Right.
But I'm sure there are other competitive outfits. The kind that I've got are called Jabra. You know, like Jabra the Hun in, what was it?
You know that Microsoft owns that company.
Do they?
Also.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry.
They Jabra makes headset pieces for phones too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I told my daughter this, and she's a stockbroker, so she spends a lot of time during the day with headphones on. And she says, "Oh, that's the brand of my headphones, or a headset. It's not just
Headset. Yeah.
a headphone; it's a headset." And she says, "That's the headset that we use." So any rate, it's Jabra.
I did not know that Microsoft owned them. Now I'm sad.
So yeah, and what I'm wearing right now are Jabras. Microsoft bought them about 4 years ago. They used to be just an independent company, and Microsoft bought them because they could.
They make good stuff.
Many other they have all kind of interests and companies and investments and
Well, it's just part of their investment portfolio.
yeah.
Well, Ray's here.
Ray's here, sorta. Is Ray in town?
Well,
Yes,
the question
Yes.
is, what time zone is he in?
I'm at home. For some reason, my
There you go.
there it is. I can see video now. Sorry, I know you guys missed me.
So
The problem is I've said your name 3 times last night, so so you appear, right?
What was it at about 8 8:45, 8:30 last night.
9 o'clock, yeah, something like that.
Okay, at that point, I was loading 3D printers into my truck.
And it was, and the conversation I was having was about 3D printers. Isn't that amazing?
So I bought some more 3D printers.
Of course.
So you weren't selling them, you were buying them?
A little bit of both.
He will pay the parking lot with them.
Selling them out the back of my trunk at a parking lot.
Hey, you want some printers? I got some printers. Come on, man.
Yeah, ignore all the Taylor Swift concert tickets. Yeah, I get 3D printers. Oh man. No, I've got a resource up in Columbus, Ohio, and I was driving back from Maryland, and I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and stop there, and I had already called and talked to him, and he had 3D printers ready for me to pick up. So it's more of the same thing. I'll be repairing them, rebuilding them, whatever. So I've got a whole bunch of them, and I'm hoping to get like 6 working ones out of there. So good.
I will find out. The guy's in Michigan who I was talking to, and I was telling him that the Crealities were really good entry level printers. And
yeah, I'm very content with them.
He wanted to buy one, so I will see how serious he was. I may have sold a printer for you.
Is he in Michigan?
He is in Michigan. He's in the upper peninsula of Michigan. He's closer to Wisconsin, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But
over in the east, yeah.
Ray probably doesn't know. I was printing 3D dragons.
I got one of those on my shelf over there.
Yeah, I was printing them for the grandkids. I've printed 30-ish dragons.
Wow. On what?
Actually, I started on the Creality, and it started giving me that heat problem again. So I printed them on my Flash Forge.
Okay.
My old printer, but
okay.
I posted a picture of a bunch of them, and this guy asked me about it, and I was like, "What? Printers are fairly reasonable."
I have like 6 of them all in a row, and I think last week I had I think I had them all running for 5 or 6 days at a time. Yeah, that looks good too.
Yeah, I was printed on that Flash Forge. This PLA filament's called Rainbow, and it's kind of soft, so I had to really hone in the settings for the printer, but it prints really nice.
When we got all the printers the last time, we also bought some used stuff, some older stuff, and yeah, the overhangs on that look really good. How it goes over top of the doorway, that looks really good.
Yeah,
as small as it is, that Flash Forge does a great job.
Yeah, as long as the bed's level, and you could read the name. And for the first time ever, I actually was able to read the back. That actually says something back there.
Wow.
And it says 3D. I can't read it now. My eyes are broken. 3D something. But there's words back there. And for the first time ever, I was able to read it. So that Flash Forge does pretty good. And it's an antique. It's an antique printer.
My dad stopped by today, and he traded me. I gave him a Ender 3 V2, and he gave me a K1 Max, which is a lot bigger, fully enclosed and everything. But somebody dropped it. And
Oh,
if you know anything about the K1 Max, it has um a cast top section, cast corners, and a cast bottom. And then those pieces are machined. It goes all together. It's really robust. But if you drop it, it just destroys it. And
Becomes unrobust.
yeah, it becomes unrobust. Absolutely. Yeah, the whole thing is just twisted. And he's like, "Oh, Ray, you can fix it." Like, yeah, well, I know he can't. So uh, he basically just said, "Ray, I don't want a project 3D printer. I want something that's just going to work." So uh, so I gave him one of my 3D printers. That's my dad, got to do stuff like that.
was was that one of his printers that he had started with, or is that something he traded around for?
He's in a church men's group, and I think what happened was one of the guys in a men's group was carrying it from like the kitchen table to the bedroom, stumbled, and you guys are like, what happened, huh? When he stumbled, he lost grip of the 3D printer. It fell to the ground, and then this guy landed on top of it and just twisted the whole 3D printer.
Mm.
So I'm not even going to try to fix it right now, because, like I said, the corner of the cast bottom is ripped apart. It's metal, and was ripped apart.
That's an expensive printer.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a Creality K1 Max, and I think brand new. They're about $800 or so. But
800 plus
yeah.
whatever extra features there might be on it.
So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait. I've got it on top of a shelf somewhere back there, and I'll just wait till I find one really cheap that has a bad controller or something, and I'll just see if I can buy it up cheap and start working on it. But a shattered base, I can't deal with that. Twisted, destroyed base. It ripped the metal apart.
Well, all you need to do is get your metal laser machines working, and you can fix that. No problem.
Oh yeah, well, I got all weekend.
Come on, Ray. You've always got options there.
I got all weekend to work on that, right?
Get it done, man. Get it done.
Well, I've got electricity now, and I got the laser machines in place. You're right. I need to get it done.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh, I deserve it too. Over that one.
You turn the metal laser real low and just pour in a bunch of sintered bronze or something.
I don't know. I don't think that would do it.
AI camera and a LiDAR. That printer has LiDAR built into it. And an AI camera. What? Oh.
Self-leveling, maybe?
Yes, it's auto leveling. It's got a camera so that basically it can take a picture at each level so that you can watch your print just rise up and make a time-lapse video. So pretty neat.
It says spaghetti detection and foreign object detection. Looks like it would probably stop if there's a problem. If it detects a problem. Yeah. It will pause. It will pause printing if it detects anything is going wrong. That's a heck of a printer.
Well, right now it's a twisted bit of a printer.
I hear you.
Yeah. Even if I know that at minimum, um, it needs a color display front, operator panel. It needs a front door because the front door is shattered, and it needs a probably about 10 hours worth of wrenching and screwdrivers work. And yeah. I'm not gonna mess with it for a while. What have you guys been working on? I haven't seen you in a while.
Well, pretty much been the same old, same old. I've been printing dragons. That's what I've been doing.
I was working with the robot, the Raspberry Pi controlled robot using SSH connection. Finally, I am programming in Python using SSH connection. And finally, I can send and receive commands to the program to order the robot do things from the SSH terminal. And it's working pretty good. And the good thing is you can change anything in your program, and instantly you are running the program. I started with this setting. It's here. This setting is this is Arduino Micro running the A-Star slave program. It's an I2C slave. Receiving orders from the Raspberry Pi. And I have in my scope the PWM signal. Let me share the.
Oh, I probably need to turn on screen sharing. Hang on. All right. You should be all right.
Okay, let me share something. I think it's this. Yeah. And I have a terminal to execute the program. This program is in the Raspberry Pi, and it's instruct the board to do motor control. Okay. I am using 3PI plus because my idea is to use this Raspberry Pi controlling the 3P plus robot, but now it's just a board. It's just you can see both, right? You can see my camera and the sharing screen.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I can make the just a second. I can run with the arrows. I can move forward, backward. Okay. You can stop with the SIDA control. You can ask for the battery voltage. What else? Okay, in this one it's not working, but I create a new command that is reset counters of those 00 is the encoder's value, but in this case we don't have anything connected to the board. Okay, so we see only 0. But I have this program also working in my Romy robot. Let me check. It's over there. Just a second. Let's go back. This thing. Okay, this is the Romy chassis. Okay. In this case, I use an Arduino Pro Mini, Pro Micro, with acting as a slave for the Raspberry Pi 3 here. The chassis has its own power supply with batteries inside the chassis, and the Raspberry Pi is using a power bank. So let me turn on the chassis power board, and I need to open a terminal. This terminal is connected to this Raspberry Pi. This thing doesn't, okay. Now I need to open another terminal to command the robot. This is another terminal. Let me share for a moment what I'm doing. Okay, I will open a connection, TCP. No, I think that this is already in my micro. This one. This is an SSH connection.
I haven't seen TerraTerm for a while.
Yeah. It's really nice. I was working with the VS Code to edit the files, but the TerraTerm, when you are in the Nano editor, in the SSH session, you can use your mouse inside the Nano. I don't know why, you know? So you can move around, and you have it's very easy to edit in the Nano editor because you use the mouse to move your file. File connections. I don't remember what's the. Okay, user by
RASP.
by. Okay, now we are connected to the robot. Okay, change directory. Originally, I was using the BNC connection with the desktop of the Raspberry Pi, but Steve suggests that we can work better using slider and faster use SSH. So I changed to this environment. Okay. And here I have another Romy. Romy is the Okay, and here I have this Romy Micro 7. Okay,
Yeah.
Python raw micro 7. Okay, now we have control of the robot. Let me move this. The light is not good because I have the window, but I can move the arrow in my keyboard. I will use the arrow keys to move forward, backward, left, and right the robot. Okay, so let's try just forward. You can see the encoder's value. I can reset the encoders in any moment. This is a command I added. Something goes wrong. I don't know what.
Oops.
Still running.
Okay, forward, reset the counter, the encoders.
Stop.
Stop with theta, and we can go right or left. Stop. Let me show this in the floor. Okay, I will use the keyboard to move the robot forward.
Go forward.
Forward, rotating, forward. See? And see that to stop. Okay. I don't know how it looks, but okay.
Yep.
So that was what was doing, what I was doing. The speed of the robot is 40, but you can go to 300 is the maximum. I like to work with very low speed because still get crazy sometimes. I don't know what's going on when but it's happening with the Raspberry Pi 3 B plus, but the Nano, the 2W never failed. I don't know if it's related to the Raspberry Pi or I have some trouble with the library because the library, the Python library is different in the robot than in the breadboard. So maybe something related with that. I don't understand what's the problem. I can share if Steve want to see the error. This is what it said. Trace back.
Yeah.
Hello. Sorry, I was talking without my headphones. So I hear nothing. Okay, this is the error. and it looks
Ye-
like is I don't
It looks like you
Right.
sent an I2C command and didn't get it correct.
Do you have LEDs?
yes,
Mhm.
but the LEDs are physical ones in the Pro Micro, but
Mm-hmm.
doesn't exist in the sorry, the LEDs are real in the Arduino Micro, but the Pro Micro doesn't have them. Maybe I overlapping some functionalities, motors with LEDs or something like that, LEDs.
I don't know, because that one callback is for something about LEDs, and then you've got red, yellow, and green.
Yeah, this is in the main program, in the Python program. Let me wait. Yeah, the LED control, those are functions in StarPy. They are functions
Mm-hmm.
LED. You can send commands 3 bytes to control red, yellow, and green. The problem is that in the robot, the pins of red, yellow, and green, some of them are not available. It's different than in the A star board of Pololu,
Right.
because I am using the same libraries with several chains. But you can read the battery voltage. In the robot, look, when I read the voltage in the Arduino Micro, the voltage is above the usual because I am connecting 5 volts to the analog channel, and the Arduino Micro, I think have a dial, a protection dial that makes the system works with 4.75 volts. So the analog channel, when see 5 volts, see a voltage above the maximum of the channel, you know.
Mm.
It's rare. But this is the robot here. This is the other session, the robot. Let's see how, when you ask for the battery voltage, it's almost 5 volts exactly. See? Moving forward, stop. Now go crazy. Look, this is
Oh,
something happened.
he's going crazy.
Yeah. Now I start the session again and take control of the motors again. But this is the problem of work with big robots. you can get hurt. So that's why I like to work with I like to use my sticks to put the
Mm-hmm.
robot on them instead of use the robot in the floor or in a table. It's better to have the robot hanging in the air and see how it works. But I don't know. Now the problem is more more complex. Look at this. This is when the robot got crazy, Trace back and file. This is another error.
Something about buttons.
Yeah, but there are no buttons there. There are a lot of trouble with the I2C. Originally, I am using level translators, logic level translators between the Arduino and the Raspberry Pi.
Mhm.
But I changed the speed of the I2C bus from 100 kilohertz to 400 kilohertz. So the signals got low pass, like a low pass filter, the clock signals. So I had to increase the pull-up resistors in the bus to correct that. But I think I need some kind of delay in some part of the software to deal with the speed of the Raspberry Pi and the speed of the Arduino. It looks like sometimes I lose some command or some. Actually, when you send commands to the robot, you write in a register and put a couple of bytes, one for each motor for the speed. But there is not any kind of checking, error checking. So if something reach the motor control register, it go crazy. I need to check, maybe send the control values and the complementary value of the command to check them before execute the motor movement to be sure that is a legal command for go forward or rotate or whatever. I think that it's too simple. The protocol has no protection for anything, I was talking about use some kind of watchdog to stop everything if the master doesn't send a command in a second or half a second or whatever. Because if I try to move this control hardware to a bigger robot, will be then dangerous to stay close to the robot.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to make this very robust before move to the hoverboard motors thing, because the robot can break your ankle if it moves in the wrong direction. So this is what I was doing. This afternoon, this thing arrived from China. It's a keypad that is completely configurable.
What kind of software do you need to configure it?
Well, you connect to a web page, and the web page they take control of everything. Let me show you.
Via.app or use via.app?
No, it's don't know where is it. Here is it. Let me show you let me share the. Let me share the page of the app. See?
I just see Zoom.
Yeah, but this
Zoom,
is
zoom.
not the one I want to share. Is this
Zoom.
here? You see? This is
Mhm.
a web page that identify that you have the path connected, and you can change everything. You have a keyboard, and you can change each button, and you can change the command that the button produce in the as a keyboard. You can change the lighting. You have different functions to change the basic. You can select any key. You can select any key and change the color of the key. You have this, can make this green. Okay. And submit. Now the key change the color. Let me put another one, red. Now it's red color. Looks like the same, right? But I just starting to understand it. Okay. Anyway, but the problem, the backlight is really nice, but all the keycaps are black with nothing on them. So I imagine that you need to buy keycaps to make the backlight useful.
Yeah.
See? Well, I supposedly I order 24 keys, but 16 arrived, 16 keys 4x4. But then I checked the order, and was my mistake because it's a little confused the selection. So I ordered the wrong one. It comes with this to reach the web page to change the configuration. They also have instructions very clear here in Chinese. I can't read anything. That's it. Another thing I want to do is to use the ESP32 S3 connected to a VGA monitor. To create VGA screens with the ESP32. That's it. And now I have my USB magnetic kit.
Steve's corrupted us. We all have magnetic kits now.
And fancier keyboards.
And fancier keyboards.
Micro USB magnetic. USB-C magnetic.
I have a question about my keyboard that's only Steve can answer.
Okay.
I'll do what I can.
All right. So I'm thinking that I have hit a key combination on the keyboard that has told my computer to turn the webcam off.
Wow.
I just don't know what combination of keys I've hit because I don't really understand like how the layers work. I'm thinking that maybe I hit something that the computer recognizes.
So I don't think there's anything in the standard Windows layout
Okay.
that touches that, but in the Macintosh layout, there's a keyboard command for that. So if you hit function, I think it's caps lock,
Yeah.
it switches back and forth between Windows and Mac.
Okay.
Which LED is on the keyboard, Windows or Mac?
Right now it's Windows, but
Yeah.
now it's Mac.
And
I was playing around with that when I first got the keyboard, not really knowing what it is I'm doing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, been there, done that.
So, do you know what key combination it would be to turn that on or off?
No, hold on a second.
It's really the only thing I could think of that I might have done, and the computer just thinks the webcam's turned off. I opened it back up. I checked the solder joints and all that. Everything looks good, but I don't know. It's a bizarre thing. Uh,
I have to, you know.
Oh,
take
you're
you
waiting on
home.
me. Take me home.
Yeah.
I forgot. My taxi driver. Sorry.
oh,
Okay.
is it time to go home? You look like you're falling asleep.
Sorry, I've been on the go for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go home, Ray. Get some rest.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't have a cot there in the office?
Oh yeah, I gotta pull out couch and a futon and yeah. Yep. Just if I slow down at all, then I fall over and go to sleep. So I gotta go.
Ray
But,
can't stop. And look, he's got a big comfy chair to fall asleep in.
got 2 more chairs today and 16 printers and yeah. It's been crazy for a while.
Patty is making me buy a new chair.
One of my customers went out of business, and so they asked us to help sell their laser machines. And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool, no problem." And she says, "By the way, they're gonna paint. They're gonna strip their garage down, their workshop warehouse down to nothing, tomorrow morning. So anything that doesn't sell, they're gonna put it in this 30-yard dumpster. I was like, okay, so who are you selling to? And they're like, to you, Ray. Anything you want to buy.
Well, just wait a day and go
Like, oh my
get the
God.
whole dumpster.
I couldn't do that. But I ended up buying everything, almost everything. Oh my gosh. But it was, it was fire sale, crazy, crazy. So I was supposed to I took 2 laser machines to New York, 2 to Brooklyn, and then I took 5 laser machines home. That was crazy. I'm not supposed to bring home more than I take.
Yeah, you're not supposed to come back with stuff.
Yeah, well, I came back with a full Enterprise rental truck full. It was crazy. And we kind of parted it all out today, put it where it belongs throughout the building and stuff. So, yeah. All right. Well, my wife is looking at me funny. I gotta go home now.
Yes,
Fall asleep. Much longer.
Oh yeah.
he already did. He's already been asleep. I saw him do
Took a
it.
nap. Sorry, guys.
We'll see you later, Ray.
Take care, Ray.
Go get some
I
rest.
know I was gonna ask you guys
Oh.
something. I can't remember. So
Well, if you remember, you know where we are. If you
Meepo
remember.
skateboard. Meepo skateboards. MEEPO. I got 2 of them. They've got motors, controllers, all that stuff. But I don't have the handheld unit.
Okay.
It was a surplus thing, and they're several $100s brand new. But I've got some older units, and is there a way to test them? So,
Most of those I've seen, the hand controller is just a pot. If it's 3 wires, it's
there's no. It's wireless. Completely
oh,
remote.
okay, never mind.
Yeah, I was looking for, is there a jack or something to plug it into, but no. There's no jack to plug into. They're completely wireless. So it's kind of neat. But they're,
Got a friend that has one of those. I can ask him if he's got any info on it.
yeah. If I can't find anything quick, I'm just gonna sell them on eBay.
Ray's got too many projects.
Oh, I know. Oh. Pawing them off on somebody else.
Those are hub motor, right? The wheels.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
So why couldn't you drive them with something other than the controller that's in there?
I don't know. They're so compact. But
Yeah.
I got just the skateboard. I didn't get a charger or a remote. And the charger is like $25, $30. And the remote is like another $30. But I don't feel like wasting $60 just to find out does it work.
Does it work?
Yeah. So I didn't, there's 2 wheels that are drive wheels. And
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, is one of them jammed up? Is the thing gonna overheat? Does the battery not work? So
I would turn those into robots. It's just me. I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm just here.
Anyway.
Oh, look.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah, go home.
Good
I
night.
miss you. I haven't seen you in a
Good
while.
night.
I'm so sorry. But we'll talk to you later.
Bye,
Take
Ray.
care.
I don't really. I'm searching for that skateboard. I don't really see anything that tells what that controller is. It's definitely a wireless controller. Maybe it connects via Bluetooth. And I'm also trying to search for the key command for the Apple.
And I'm not finding anything.
Okay. Well, neither am I. So we're on a fool's errand. It seems to make that seems to make sense because I was messing with the Mac thing just to see what the differences were. Because why not?
Well, HP has a thing where, sorry, they tend to use function F6 to turn the screen on and off,
Yeah,
or turn the camera on and off. So maybe somehow you hit that.
I tried that. I
This is the steel kit.
oh, the still in the box kit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is for steel
the
kimono.
cool. Dell has. I think they use the same function key, function F6, to turn their on some of their laptops, not all of them, but some of their laptops. But I tried it, didn't work.
On this particular one, F6 is brightness up and down.
Yeah, that's what it
No.
is on this keyboard too. So sooner or later, I'm going to figure this out. But if I was messing with the Mac,
And on fancy keyboards, I dug an IBM keyboard out of the junk pile here from a very old IBM. It has two dedicated keys on it for left console and right console. So if you tap that and you're at a console in TTY1, you move to TTY2. Tap it again, you're on 3. Tap the other
neat.
one, you're back to 2. Yeah, I have never seen that before. And I've been looking all day long for what does that, because it seems to work in at least Ubuntu.
Hmm.
I'm building a machine for a developer that is pretty impressive.
Well, that's I've never seen. I don't even really think that the that those amber terminals had buttons that would do that.
Well, they wouldn't. It has to be done on a console,
Okay.
because you're not on a
Yeah,
TTY,
yeah, yeah.
you're on a pseudo TTY then. But yeah, I've never seen this before, and I need to make that happen on my keyboard.
That needs to be a thing. That really should be a thing. Instead of Control Alt and one of the function keys. Um,
And it doesn't have an internal counter and just keep track of where it's at. Because if you unplug it, plug it back in, it still works properly.
hmm. Well, do not need to be on the Macintosh setting. I need to be on the Windows setting. Because everybody knows I don't need to mess up another keyboard or another camera.
If you find out which one it is, you can set it on and then disable that.
Well, if I find out which one it is, I'm never going to touch it. That's it. You know, when you get something new, you want to play with all the neat features that it does. So I had no idea what I was doing. I was just hitting buttons, and I bet that that's what I did. And I bet the BIOS in this, because it's, you know, it's an all-in-one, so it's basically a laptop with a bigger screen. I bet it interpreted something I did as never turn the camera on, ever. And then when it started working, you know, that random time that it started working, I wonder if I didn't hit that key combination again and didn't realize I hit it.
I'm really surprised that it is something that persists through a reboot, and that if it's there as a key combination, that it isn't in BIOS as a thing that you can enable and disable, or at least turn back on.
Well, I mean, BIOS says turn the webcam on or off. It does have that setting.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's on. So, and yes, I'm with you on the reboot thing, because I would have thought that if I rebooted, it wouldn't remember what I had told it to do, but it's just a theory. It's just a thought. I have nothing to base my theory on other than it occurred to me that laptops have the ability to turn the camera off from the keyboard.
And that's typically from some kind of key combination.
Mm-hmm. It's usually the function key in something, or the function key in the control key in something. But from what I've gathered, only certain laptops support that too. So I don't know. I really don't. I really don't know what I did. But on another note, now the good desktop, the one that has the camera issue, still does not see the keyboard until I get into an OS. But the computer I'm using right now, I set the LEDs to off, and it does actually recognize the keyboard on boot. So I can actually use the keyboard. So seems like I'm thinking still that the KVM may be causing some problems. It's just an old slow KVM. It doesn't boot up as fast as it needs to or should.
An issue I've had, maybe similar. What I've done for years is plug a USB cable into Dell monitors and then plug the keyboard and mouse into the monitor.
Okay.
So now I've got a bundle of cables coming off of the Dell monitor for a VGA and a display port and HDMI and whatever, and a power cord and a single USB and network, of course. So I plug those into whatever, and now I can use the keyboard and mouse on that machine. I've got this one Dell monitor here behind me that apparently doesn't have the USB hub turned on until the display comes on. And on this one particular machine I'm working on, it doesn't initialize the display until it's halfway booted.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't interrupt it to get into firmware or to select a kernel to boot or anything. It's ticking me off. That's how I discovered the IBM keyboard. I grabbed one off the top of my cabinet and plugged it in and like, what does this button do? When I pushed it, and I was amazed.
See, you're hitting buttons, Steve. You just
Yep.
turned off your webcam.
I just discovered that hitting Control Alt Delete while you're connected to a VM sends it to both the VM, which rebooted, and to Windows, which tried to lock.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've had a number of those Dell monitors that have had the hub. I didn't know you could turn the hub off. I thought it just was a hub.
I did too.
That's basically what my KVM shows up as, is a generic hub. It says KVM hub, but it's basically a USB hub. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And on this machine, it doesn't show up at all as a KVM hub. That's interesting. That is kind of interesting. I see the keyboard. I don't see the hub. Huh. Actually, the keyboard doesn't really show up. There's a blank spot for here. What am I doing? What's going
Be right
on?
back.
I think I just froze my computer.
No, we can still see you.
Okay,
You're still moving.
well, that's good.
Meeting presenter has, okay, there we go.
Is that readable?
Yeah.
So that's the. This is my keyboard, and it's not really identified as a keyboard. And this is my mouse, but I don't see the USB hub.
Well, if it's in between your mouse and your keyboard and your computer, no, you should still see it.
Yeah. It actually, on the other machine, it shows up as a, I don't remember what it's called, KVM something hub. Maybe this Alcor Media? Alcor Micro? Weird. I wonder why it identifies as something else on this machine.
This is the HP or the IBM keyboard. This thing is old.
Wow.
Weird layout of keys too. And the spares are these two right here. And they've got what I thought was a punch card. I was trying to figure out what it was. And we've also got a lot of keyboards around here that have cat card readers built into them because security and stuff.
Right.
I thought maybe it was tied to that.
Yes, the other computer is calling it a Uniclass Technology 4-port KVM switched hub. It's very odd. Very, very odd. Why two different machines would call it two different things? I'm not even going to try to figure it out. We're running low on time. Patty just kind of stuck her head in here and waved at me. And next month, July 4th, we're not going to have the meeting. So
Yeah.
everybody go and enjoy your holiday.
Okay.
And then the following Thursday, we'll be in person at the library on a short time. It'd be
How short?
5 to 6:30, I think is.
No, hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're giving up a half hour. And then we'll be back to virtual again for the rest of them next month. So we're going to have
So
one.
only
Yeah.
one live in July.
Yeah, July and August. We're both just
Jammed.
yeah, it was weird. So I went back to try to get another spot in July, and it was gone. I was like, so I do. Let me check here. August is another one where we're only going to have one meeting. August was completely full.
Hmm.
And there really wasn't anything I could do about it. August 1st is a Thursday, and it did have a spot available. It was like 5 to 5:30, and I'm like, well, that's kind of pointless to drive all the way down there for a half hour.
Yeah.
I barely get the laptop out and set up for a half hour meeting. So definitely in August, I'm going to have to schedule several ahead again because we're back on track in September. So, but that is all I know. I know nothing.
Mhm.
So everybody have a happy 4th. I will.
Okay.
We'll see everybody on the 11th.
Sounds
And
good.
Sounds good.
I'll
Yep.
send messages out. And if anybody wants to message between now and then, there's always the group thing to do
Yes.
it. So no problems. So, see you guys later.
Good night.
Happy
Bye.
4th.